U.S. Special Forces on Monday arrested the criminal and former presidential candidate Kamala Harris on charges of treason after her flight. A standard Boeing 747 painted to mimic the highly classified VC-25S known as Air Force One and Air Force Two, when an actual president or vice president is aboard them, landed at Joint Base Andrews following her week-long Hawaiian vacation. Harris has been out of the spotlight since suffering a crushing defeat in the 2024 general election, despite massive cheating on her part. Last Tuesday, a disgraced Kamala and husband Doug Emhoff flew to Hawaii to lick their wounds. The pair and their Secret Service detail had kept a low profile at a $1,300 a night luxury resort, rarely venturing outdoors. Neither Harris nor her husband knew that half of her security detail had betrayed her and were feeding details on her movements and conversations to white hats on the mainland. A growing number of Secret Service personnel, white hat sources told Real Raw News, are working arduously to restore prestige to an agency that descended into darkness under deep state rule. These federal fifth columnists were reportedly well vetted prior to working alongside white hats. While in Hawaii guarding Harris, these agents told white hats that a miserably depressed Harris had spent her vacation chewing out her husband, woefully bewailing her loss, which she scapegoated on both Donald Trump and Jill Biden. Harris purportedly trashed her vacation suite, hurling a pricey vase against a wall as she accused Trump of cheating, and Jill of voting for him instead of her. When her husband Doug Emhoff tried to pacify her, suggesting that she accept the loss and retire from politics, Harris flung a coffee mug at his head, then blamed him for breaking it, saying, "See what you made me do." When not berating her husband, she spent hours on the phone commiserating with fellow Democrats, asking many, including Chuck Schumer and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, whether she could legally refuse to certify the electoral vote for Trump and instead name herself the victor. Although Harris had booked the suite through Tuesday, the Secret Service convinced her to leave a day early, using a ploy white hats had previously used to move deep staters around by concocting non-existent threats to their safety. They informed Harris that the Michigan Militia, a paramilitary Michigan-based organization founded in 1994 by Norman Olson, discovered the resort at which she was staying and had come to Hawaii to abduct her or summarily execute her. 50 trigger-happy, bloodthirsty, MAGA-loving militia members were at that moment on a flight to Hawaii, they told her. Moreover, the militia had contacts on the island from whom they planned to get a massive weapons cache, they cautioned her, and demanded she and her husband pack their belongings for an immediate departure. Our sources declined to comment on why white hats relied on subterfuge to bring Harris stateside a day early, or why they didn't simply grab her in Hawaii, but said the agents put on a masterful performance. They had to, however, disappear the three agents who were part of the deep state and who would have spoiled the plan. Harris demanded to know why half her detail was missing, and the fifth columnist said they had vanished, that an advanced militia team might have arrived early and eliminated them. They voiced that there was no time to waste, and the multi-cavalcade, which included driverless decoys, hastened to the airport for an immediate takeoff. Many hours later, as the fake Air Force Two landed at Andrews, white hats were watching and waiting. Per Secret Service operating procedures, another 5-car convoy greeted her and Emhoff on the tarmac, and the white hat-aligned agents ensured the couple entered the SUV they were driving. Harris instructed the agents to immediately head for her unpublished address in Berkeley, an upscale neighborhood in the northwest quadrant of D.C., but the agents took a detour down a side street where a U.S. Special Forces team awaited the package. Naturally, the Secret Service and other vehicles realized something was amiss and gave pursuit, but when they found the SUV Harris had been riding in, it had already been abandoned and left parked beside a bakery. Special Forces had pulled Harris and Emhoff, whom the constitutionally aligned Secret Service had sedated, from the SUV and switched vehicles. Our source said they changed vehicles 5 times in 30 minutes, eluding the Secret Service and the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department. Our sources wouldn't specify how Special Forces extracted the couple out of Deep State Central, citing operational security. He said that friendlies are safe and that Harris and Emhoff will eventually face a military tribunal for treason. However, he added, white hats will force Harris to certify the electoral count before shipping her to Gitmo. We apologize to Michigan militia and hope they're as happy as we are with the end result. Harris is finished, our source said.